Hello and welcome to our beloved parishioners. I'm Bailee.
I'm Ashley.
And this is Praise Be to Pod. Thank you so much for joining us. Ashley, what has been on your heart?
Ooh, okay. Everyone knows that I love trashy TV and that I love 90 Day Fiancé. And I've been catching up on 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days.
What?
Exactly. And so like there's a few spinoffs, okay?
Okay.
One is 90 Day Fiancé the other way. And it's where Americans go live in a different country with the person they're engaged to, but not in the States.
Oh, man.
So like this season, there's someone who's living in Indonesia, someone who's living in China. It's amazing. Someone who's living in Europe.
Americans are so much worse at acclimating. I bet that's such a shit show.
It's amazing.
Okay.
I love like the cultural component of 90 Day Fiancé and the cross-cultural like relationship dynamic. It's so complicated. And 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days is the most erratic version of 90 Day Fiancé because it's before they even get engaged. So typically it's like two people met on the internet and they've never met in person. And the first time they meet in person, there's a camera crew there. And so
Nightmare fuel.
a lot of times that show is also them going to the other country because the visa isn't as easy to get to the US as it is to get for an American to go to that country.
Okay.
So on this current season, there's this woman, this American woman from New Mexico who's obsessed with chickens.
Like the meat or the
Like
creature?
as her pet.
Okay.
But she says that they're also like her family. This woman is dating a man from Nigeria.
Okay. And what does he think about that?
Well, first of all, he's blind.
Whoa.
And she loves that about him.
What?
Because she's so insecure.
Oh.
She's like a really cute, like normal, cute lady. She's not like horrific looking or anything.
Yeah.
And she goes to Nigeria to meet him. And she throws a fit because his sister goes to buy a chicken for their family to eat.
Oh.
And the sister's like, do you not eat chicken? And she's like, no, I eat chicken. And she was like, so I'm confused.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
She's like, I eat chicken, but in an out of sight, out of mind kind of way.
She literally, the devil himself is inside of her. And she goes, let the chicken live.
Yikes.
It's amazing. So I've just been like living off that high for weeks. And if anyone watches, please talk to me because I don't have any friends who watch this and I feel very alone.
So sorry. And I'm just not going to volunteer for this position.
Oh, also this Nigerian man is super Christian. And he didn't tell her that he's celibate until they get married. So she was so mad.
See, that would be hard for me.
Yeah.
If
So
someone
she
told me that,
travels to Lagos, Nigeria, and then he's like, oh yeah, and we're not going to be having sex. She was like, and you're trying to kill my family? It's amazing. It's amazing. So that's what's on my heart. What about you?
So when I lived in Los Angeles, California, I got into a little bit of trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Financial trouble.
Oh shit. It's not fun.
And it was just the start. So I came from a very Dave Ramsey anti-credit card family. And so when I got my first credit card, I didn't have a lot of credit card education.
Yes.
And I also didn't make a ton of money. And I lived in one of the most expensive cities in America. So I wasn't spending extravagantly, but I did get into some credit card debt. And then when I moved back to Minnesota, it did seem to pile up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I found myself in a place that I would never be. And I actually got to a place in credit card debt where I actually remember before I had gotten into it, I heard of somebody having around the same amount. And I was like, how is that even possible? I was like, they must have been such idiots.
Yeah.
And
Happens
God
easy.
heard me say that.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't care for that attitude. And so
go spend.
yes, exactly. So I got into a little bit of trouble and I had a little bit of a come to Jesus moment where I got really serious about paying off my credit card debt. And I've been doing a pretty good job, but it's definitely hindered the things that I've been able to do in my life because it's a chunk out of my paycheck every month. But I am happy to say that as of a couple weeks ago, I am halfway done paying
my
off my
God.
credit card,
Amazing.
which I know people are like, why would you say that instead of waiting until you're completely done? It's going to be a little bit.
It's still really exciting.
But it is like, I've never, I just didn't grow up with money. So I don't have like a ton of money now, but I just didn't have a ton of financial literacy.
Yeah.
And so to actually like start seeing the progress of achieving a goal has been so confidence building for me. Cause I think that like, I heard this one time because like I said, I didn't grow up with a lot of money. So my spending habits really brought a lot of shame on me because I assumed that a person who didn't come from a lot of money would just be hyper frugal. And I think that is something that happens sometimes. But conversely, you can also just like not value the dollar because, you know, if after all of the bills are paid, you only have $5 left in your checking account or whatever, you might as well go buy a latte because you know, there's no emergency that $5 is going to get you out of.
Right.
But you keep perpetuating that, and so you don't feel as like prone to saving because you don't see how much like your money can add up over time because you don't have enough to save. But now that I'm like becoming more like vigilant about saving and I'm seeing that grow, it's been so satisfying to me, and I'm really proud of myself. So I'm excited to see what happens with that.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You've had a lot of discipline.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I have.
Exciting.
Yep. And I keep like one day I'd love to own a townhouse. And so I have like a couple townhouses just like saved to my desktop on my computer just to like remind myself like, hey, like
It's worth it.
saving can get you that one day. And
Yeah.
like to clarify, like I don't think that like I don't want to be a Dave Ramsey that's like, you can't afford a home because you go to Starbucks sometimes.
Right.
But I'm at a point where like if I make enough money where if I was vigilant, I could own a home one day. And so I want to take that seriously now that I have that opportunity because I never thought I would be able to. And so I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yes. But now we're going to move into our other segment, Trust and Obey. Ashley, do you have any recommendations that you'd like to make?
Yes. Okay. Last week or a few weeks ago, you were talking all about your cottage cheese containers.
I have so much I
And it
could
gave
say
me a
about cottage
real
cheese.
craving for cottage cheese. And then my friend Tylena, who's like always posting on her like health journey, was posting about a cottage cheese bowl. Like instead of a yogurt bowl, you know, like I'm really into yogurt and I eat so much fruit every day.
You
It's
love
embarrassing.
fruit. Yeah. You've gotten me into fruit again. Congrats. I mean, I ate a strawberry the other day and I thought of you.
That's the brand I want to be associated
It
with.
was covered in chocolate.
That's also should make you think of me. Yes.
Okay.
But she was posting about her cottage cheese bowl, and I was like, wait, I could do this. It's like a yogurt bowl, but savory. So I started making cottage cheese bowls for lunch. It's delicious.
With the fruit.
No, with
No.
savory things. So I do it like Mediterranean.
Oh.
Olives, cucumbers, bell peppers,
Delicious.
tomatoes. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do that. I put cottage cheese or Greek yogurt where I would normally put sour cream.
Yeah.
So I've been doing these like ground beef or ground turkey bowls where I have like a russet potato that's roasted, diced as a foundation, some type of ground meat on top, and then I have different vegetables, and then I do the cottage cheese on top of that, and I really like it.
Yeah.
It's
Because I
fun.
really hate lunch. Like I just,
Oh, I
I wish I
like it.
could take a pill and not have to deal with lunch and just keep working.
I think that pill is called Adderall.
Well, it's like not working. I still need to eat.
Yes. I think it's
So-
called more Adderall.
Working on that.
I think it's called street Adderall.
Yeah. Working on that. But I just like don't want to be hungry, and I don't want to have to heat something up. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand. Mm-hmm.
And I have been just eating like a cheese stick and a meat stick, and it's terrible. So this
Yeah.
is much better. Upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
So I recommend cottage cheese bowl.
I love that.
What about you?
So I would like to recommend, so it came out at the end of July, and I'm looking down my notes that I actually don't have the name of it, but I'm just
Embarrassing.
gonna wing it. I've really been enjoying Tyler Childers' new album, specifically his song Onita, which I think is maybe one of the most beautiful songs I've ever
Like
heard
the
in my life.
silverware?
Nope. Like the woman that he's singing about in the song. It is so it's basically a song about him falling in love with an older woman.
Oh,
And
much older.
quite a bit
With that name.
different generation, because they have like she's making references that he doesn't know, like movie references, like different generation.
Okay.
But it is so sweet, and it kind of makes me tear up a little bit Because like you can tell that, I mean, Tyler probably doesn't know what it's like to be a woman, but he's clearly observant enough to pick up on certain cues of like the inner world of being an older woman. So he'll like say certain things where I'm like, oh man, I don't know if he understands what he's saying right now, but I think what he saw was actually this. And I just think it's one of the most like darling songs ever. And I think that Tyler Childers is just an incredible musician and songwriter.
Is he a country?
He
artist?
is. He's from. So he's country, but he's So he's originally from like Appalachia, Kentucky, from like a coal miner family, I believe.
Right up your alley.
Yes. And then, but he like his country music is more progressive, so it's like, and I think that you can feel the angst in his song, in his music, where he's just like, why the fuck would all these people I grew up with be conservatives? Like conservatives are literally ruining this part of the country, and they have no idea that like actual like policy that benefits coal miners and laborers and the people of Appalachia, like policy that helps treat, you know, the opioid epidemic that's happening in Appalachia, are found in progressive politics.
Yeah.
And so he has just this gorgeous spin on his songwriting that really reflects that. He also funds this really cool music festival called Healing Appalachia that happens every year in rural Kentucky, but proceeds go to recovery services for Appalachia residents who struggle with addiction.
It sounds like something you should be going to.
I want to. It's a little out of my price range right now. It typically happens in September, but my goal is to go next year.
After you pay off your debt.
So it's going to be my reward for paying off my credit card debt is to go to Healing Appalachia.
Wow. Praise be to Pod.
Praise be to God indeed. Anyway, what are we talking about today?
Oh, nothing good.
Yeah, literally. So we're talking about the blues.
Suffering.
Not the music. Yeah. We're talking about suffering. So if you grew up or you were exposed to evangelical culture in any way, you probably have a little bit of a warped view of what suffering looks like. So in the church, we are taught that you need to choose joy, and that choosing joy in life is a reflection of your trust in the will of God and in God's plan. But as we know, sometimes life doesn't work out the way that we anticipate it will. And there's a great deal of suffering that can happen in life. And in many of these moments of suffering in our life, we as former evangelicals are ill-equipped to process the truth, reasoning, and meaning around suffering, because we are kind of told that suffering is a little bit of an illusion, or that it is a reflection of lack of faith in God. And so a lot of times when people experience very legitimate pain or grief or just the general messiness of being human, it's met with the belief that it's spiritual failure, or is even ignored a lot of the time. And, you know, that doesn't mean that joy by any means is impossible. In fact, I think joy is an amazing thing. And I think that it's actually very possible as well. But we're going to talk a little bit today about suffering and grief and those like tiny sparks of joy that can exist alongside suffering and hardship in life, and how we've been able to, like, I guess, make peace or reconcile with that without blaming ourselves for some of the like darker moments of our lives as well.
Yeah, I think when like bad things happened to me when I was younger, I would think I was missing God's plan.
Yes.
Like I wasn't listening to God enough, or I wasn't trusting him enough. And that's the reason it was bad. And I don't really know where that ideology comes from, but the idea that, you know, whatever happens to you, as long as you're within God's will, it will be good. Like your life will be good. And it's not biblical at all.
Yeah.
Most people who followed God, who followed Jesus, were beheaded or murdered, or they weren't like rewarded with this beautiful life. They're rewarded with torture.
Yeah.
And even all the Old Testament Bible studies are horrifying. And the later stories in the New Testament aren't encouraging either. Like everyone's always in prison, and No one's happy.
No one's really feeling it. Yeah.
There's no like,
Yeah.
oh, and then they, blew up on social media and became an influencer and are making $1 million.
No influencers in the Bible, none that I can tell at least.
You know who was influencing too many people? Paul.
Yeah.
From his frickin' prison cell.
I would agree. And that is one thing that I feel. So I think that in the Old Testament, there is a greater integration of sorrow and grief into some of the writings.
Yes.
Like, I know we don't love this person, but like David's a grade A complainer.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we brought him up in the first place.
Yeah.
And I got too triggered to continue the conversation.
Yeah, and I don't like David, but there are like moments of him expressing grief that are like, I resonate with in my bone marrow. Like, he is somebody who grieved deeply. Was it him or Solomon that wrote Lamentations?
I don't know. I didn't go to Bible school.
Let's give that a Google real quick. Lamentations.
Do we care? No.
Author. I do.
Okay, I don't. Do you have your answer?
Jeremiah, the prophet Jeremiah.
You're so wrong.
But the prophets are divas. Like they're quite sad a lot of the time.
They have both emotions.
I would say, but I also think that like prophecies in the Bible are often heeded as warnings. So there is a little bit of a negative connotation to a prophecy. So it makes sense that like a lot of our prophetic pieces of literature are lamenting inherently.
Yeah.
And there is like, it's really interesting because my mother grew up Catholic.
Oh,
and
I didn't know that.
Yep. And it was a very like old school Catholic too. Like there's really intense like penance involved and stuff.
Yeah.
And
the guilty kind.
Yeah, the guilty kind. And so when she found evangelical Christianity, my dad actually brought her to the Lord, as she would call it. She found a ton of liberation because she didn't feel like she had to identify with suffering any longer. Because I think that there is a ton of identity around suffering in Catholicism. Yeah. But I do think that a lot of Protestant ideologies, and I'm kind of talking out of my ass with this, I don't actually know if this is real. It kind of feels a little bit like Protestant theology is almost like a response or a counterculture to that suffering culture, because a lot of Protestants stuff is done in spite of Catholicism. That's kind of what Protestantism originally was. And so I do think that like in evangelical Protestantism, there is this obsession with like suffering. Who is she? Like we just like find joy in our suffering, as Paul says.
Right.
And there's a ton of identity with like, being in situations that would normally garner grief, like Stephen in the Bible, who was being stoned to death. They say that he had a smile on his face while he was being stoned.
It's sick.
It's weird. It's a little freaky.
Demonic.
It's demonic?
A little bit.
But I think that the church is like, wow, if Stephen can smile when he's being like stoned, then you can smile while you have depression. Certainly.
Okay, so I did a quick Google search. So, don't quote me, but I was curious when you were talking about the culture of Rome during the time the New Testament was written.
Okay.
Because the Old Testament, they talk so much about pain and joy and suffering. And then in the New Testament, it's like, just be happy. Just smile while you're getting stoned and like praise God when you're in prison. And it's crazy.
Yeah.
And I guess that there was quite a bit of stoicism and emotional resilience in Rome at this time.
Oh.
And Rome's perspective on suffering was characterized by indifference to the suffering of others.
Oh,
so
wow.
I think that might be part of why it's influenced as well. We should have thought of this to like do more research before the episode, but if there's anything interesting enough, we'll put some notes in the show notes and maybe on social media. But
well, I know that like a lot of the pleas to like find joy in hardship in the New Testament were because like the early Christians were genuinely experiencing persecution,
right,
at like an astronomical level. Like it was like so intense. It was almost like it was putting a bounty on your head essentially. And, many Christians knew that they were being hunted to be executed and sent to Rome. And like that, I think Christians were like commonly put in the Colosseum, like to be like executed with like gladiators. So it was genuinely a thing. That being said, in the Old Testament, Jewish people were certainly under, or the Hebrew people were also, under like serious danger too.
Right.
And you can tell like the difference in tone based on what has happened historically. A lot of the work of the prophets has to do during different exile periods. of Hebrew people. So a lot of like, I don't know if it's Jeremiah, but like Isaiah and all of those pieces were written during the exile to Babylon, which is, it brought extreme grief to the Hebrew people and extreme loss of identity and culture, oral tradition, all of those things. So it makes sense that like the like leading literature at that time reflected the sentiments of the people experiencing them and what they were going through.
Yeah. So somehow that got us to where we are today, where though we're not being persecuted, Christians are literally persecuting everyone else in
America.
this country. In this country here, not the rest of the world. And we're still taught to like not deal with our emotions and just to be thankful and happy. And it's a little bit of like some toxic positivity.
Definitely. Spiritual bypassing.
And as like a relatively negative person, it really made me mad in the church.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a cynic. I always have been. And my parents are like that, you know, like, and I think that it's important to be positive to some extent, but like not outrageously outside of your personality. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so fake to me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to like not be a total bitch. So like, how do you have both, you know, like emotional intelligence and like being a joyful person when things are hard, but also being realistic that like things can be hard and you don't have to be like, I'm grateful for this journey because, you know, I can't think of something dark that isn't pointed. So
yeah, fair enough. Insert dark scenario.
Insert dark scenario. I was like, everything I think of would relate to somebody.
Yeah, no, I understand. I totally understand what you mean by that because I feel like right now I am in this like a little bit of like an internal struggle because I also I grew up kind of having to push suffering down. And so I went through a period of time where I really integrated suffering into like my personhood because I had to push it down for so long. And that was very helpful for me. And I also got to this point where I was just like, I don't want to like, I know that I'm going through stuff, but if I like scan out or like scope out and I think about like the history of like human civilization and I think about all the different scenarios that I could have been born into over the course of human time, I am within the 0.00001% of the luckiest people who have ever been born.
Yeah.
When we talk about resources and if that isn't enough to make me choose joy, I don't really know what is.
Yeah.
Because all of the cards are stacked in my favor to live a joyful life. I'm able-bodied. I have resources. I have my basic needs met. I have the arsenal to like demonstrate joy in my life. And I think that one of the things that I learned in the last few years of therapy is how to implement joy as a discipline.
Yeah.
And I really do like, you probably know some people like who they're joyful because, or they're happy or whatever, because they haven't been through a lot. And then you know so many people who are joyful because they've been through so much and they came out the other side. And I do think that joy, true joy, can be a reflection of work done and wisdom integrated from suffering.
Yeah.
And so I definitely don't turn my nose up to joy.
Yeah.
I also think like in some sense you have to choose it in life. But I think that just like with most things in evangelical culture, there's this like slap joy, the label of joy on everything. And I think the reason why it doesn't work is because it doesn't create space to grieve.
Yeah.
I think that like joy is more actualized when you allow yourself to fully grieve a devastating event in your life without shame. And it says in scripture somewhere, it might be Lamentations actually, that there is a time to grieve and there is a time for joy. And I think that there is so much truth in that because I do think that like allowing yourself the indulgence in either emotion is what gives you the opportunity to experience joy when it's time for that. So I really do I have so much respect for joyful people at the same time, like truly joyful people. And honestly, like some of the people I know who have been through the most are joyful people because like their life was so hard they couldn't just sit in that level of grief all the time. They had to do something about it. That being said, I've had times in my life where I feel like I'm just faking joy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like a fake it till you make it thing, like it'll work, or sometimes you just have to choose to speak positively about a situation. And other times I'm like, am I just being kind of a fake bitch right now? I actually don't know, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm actually coming out of a season of that, if I'm being entirely honest, where I felt like I was pretending to be happier than I actually was. Because I was in therapy for a really long time. And then my therapist was like, I think we're done here. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, I just think that you've achieved what you need to achieve in therapy at this time. And I was like, okay. And I felt really good about that. We had like this really cool like release. And I went through a period of my life where I was just like, this is really great. Like I feel really happy and peaceful. And I had a lot of people commend me on my ability to like emotionally regulate and to find joy in stressful situations. And then I just got crabby again. I don't know.
So
like I don't know. And I like right now if I'm being honest, I'm kind of crabby right now. And I'm just
like in general.
Yeah, like I'm just not grateful.
You know what? I feel the same.
Yeah, and I don't love that about me. But if I'm being honest, like I'm just resentful and I'm getting mad at people for no reason. And I'm just sitting there like I was just complaining to a friend about something, about a thing that happened. And they were like, well, or like a concept. And they're like, well, what happened that made you like angry about that? And I'm like, you know, it's actually something that never happened. It was just like, what if that happened? Like I was literally creating reasons to be mad because I'm just a little pissy.
You know what's funny? I came back from one of our podcast recordings. Or like maybe we had talked about our podcast recording. I don't know. But I was like going to bed and I was talking to Danny about it. And I was like, oh, we have to re-record this part because, you know, we all just feel like we're full of shit because we had to record a part 2 to the marriage episode.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, we just like really feel like we lied, you know, like we're just full of shit. And Danny was like, why are you creating like all this drama for your own podcast that you decide what you talk about and then you like feel bad about it every week? And I was like, because we're girls.
I know.
And we're suffering.
We are. And can I be honest? Finding out that we needed to do a part 2 because we lied was in and of itself its own like euphoria moment where I'm just like, hey guys, I wasn't entirely honest in our last episode. And I'm here to be authentic. Like, shut the fuck up, Bailee. Like, I feel even staged in my authenticity half the time. Like, can I just be a normal person?
I know.
I'll let you know when I start being normal.
Okay, well, I want to talk about our darkest moments in life.
Okay.
Because we can't talk about joy and suffering without talking about our suffering.
I think, yeah.
So it's actually really hard for me to think about like what are the darkest moments in my life. Like obviously my divorce, my parents' divorce, which was recent, like after my divorce. I tried to get pregnant for 5 years. Yeah. That was really painful. Yeah. So when I was married the first time, we really wanted to have kids. And I specifically thought if I don't have kids with this person, I cannot like come home to this house every night.
Yeah.
So like it took a long time to realize that was my actual thinking. Like that's what was driving it so much. But like not being able to find anything wrong and like kind of losing hope that it would ever happen. And then like watching people be single, start dating, get married, have a kid, have another kid, have a third kid, like all during the time that I was trying to have a kid. It was just super painful. And, you know, like I'm at a point now where like I have made peace with that in my life and have chosen to not have kids now. Because I would be really happy with a 10-year-old like I had planned then. I would not be happy with a newborn at 41. It's like, that's just like not within my capacity emotionally, mentally, physically, in any way. And I am glad that I had the wisdom to know that. But it's still a pain point. And I think will always be a pain point. Yeah. Like that I didn't have kids or like didn't find the right person at the right time or whatever it was. Like I still don't even know why. I don't even know if I can have kids or not. Like I won't, but just kind of that like unknowing is really painful. And I think if someone would tell me, like even waiting to get married, you know, the first time when I was 27 and was like, I haven't had a boyfriend for, I don't know, 10 years or whatever, 5-10 years. Someone would have said, well, you will get married twice. You know, I've been like, oh, okay, then I'll just chill.
Yeah.
You know, like if you knew the outcome, you wouldn't be so nervous, but it's like, you
Maybe.
never, like you don't know the outcome,
Yeah.
you know? So like, I think that is one of the darkest times. My time in ministry in Arizona is the actual darkest time of my life for sure. Where I was like the most depressed and most anxious and truly losing my mind. But I think about a lot of these times, like my divorce or even when I was in Florida and trying to get pregnant, and they also seem a little peaceful.
Say more about that.
Like,
yeah.
Especially during my divorce, like I had a lot of capacity, a lot of space. It was during COVID. Being alone was like really nice.
Yeah.
A lot of times I was with friends though. Don't get me wrong. I was with really close friends who were like very caring and kind. And so I was going through a really dark time, but I was like very well supported. And I think that makes a huge difference. And I was rediscovering who I was, and I didn't have a lot of friends in Minnesota. Like I didn't really have a lot going on in my life. So I wasn't filling it because I'm like very addicted to filling my schedule to a point that makes me very like overwhelmed and stressed out. And when I don't have that option, I do feel like quite a bit of peace, you know?
Yeah.
Just like having space for my emotions was nice.
You got to like decompress. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
But I mean, if I wouldn't have taken the time to grieve those things and to like, cause I feel like I was grieving the life that I had hoped for, like the life with kids. I knew that was like probably behind me, and I was grieving that and my relationship. I think I needed a lot of space and capacity to do that. And I had it, and it was in a sense peaceful. But if I wouldn't have done that, I don't think I would have been able to find like the peace and joy in it, you know?
Yeah. One thing too, I think about, I mean, I've been thinking a lot about this lately because somebody I don't want to give too many indicators because I don't know them very well, but someone I know had a really hard time getting pregnant for years. And that included like miscarriages and even a stillborn baby. Ugh. And they recently did have a healthy, beautiful baby. And I just felt so much joy for them.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking like, I hope the people closest to them understand that like every baby shower they went to before and every congratulations they give came from like the most, like they pulled from within to give that. And I think that like one thing I want to like commend for you is that like, I know that you like love all the wonderful babies that have probably been born to people who are close to you or far from you. But even though you've made your peace with not having a baby, being able to like show up for the people who are having babies, even though they're probably never going to have to know what it really feels like to go through what you're going, is honestly to me one of the purest examples of biblical divine joy. Choosing joy I could ever really. I know you like to call yourself a grump, but you are somebody that fully embodies joy because joy is a discipline and joy is not the same as happiness. Like I feel happiness when I do coke. But that's oops. To qualify, I haven't done it in a while, but like there are moments in your life where you get like a hit of dopamine. And that's like, woo, party, like Molly girl. Like,
Yeah,
it's
like when I had Royal Match on my phone still.
Exactly. Like a dopamine hit is like, that is like, it's so easy to feel happy. But joy is when you are pulling yourself up by your fucking bootstraps and you're like, wow, I have every reason in the world right now to feel resentment, bitterness, pain, and just like entitlement to this experience. But I don't want to rob myself of the experience of being happy for someone else. Like, I've had, I want to have a baby one day and I don't know if I will. And there are, my younger sister had a baby recently, and I am so excited. But of course, and she knows this, so I feel comfortable talking. Of course, that there is a part of me that's like, man, my younger sister is having it. Like, I'm clearly being timed out of this experience now. And one of the reasons why I've enjoyed the experience of her having a baby so much is because I'm like, if I'm never going to be able to have children, I don't want to also rob myself of the joy of being an aunt.
Yeah.
And if I'm sitting there stewing, I will rob myself of that joy.
Yeah.
But like, protection of the joy that you are able to have in life is one of the greatest examples of it. So like, okay, maybe you're a grump, but like when my nephew was born and I showed you photos, you were so excited for me.
Yeah.
And like, that's joy, Ashley. That's the discipline of joy. So you like, and that takes a lot. And I want you to know that I see you in that. And I remember thinking about, this must be hard, but she's really celebrating with me right now. And I actually don't know if everyone's got it in them to do that.
Yeah. I think it takes quite a bit of maturity. And also like some ups and downs in life. Like there were definitely times where I knew I was going to be around a bunch of new moms or a bunch of pregnant women. And they have a really hard time like not talking about that experience.
I know. And if they haven't gone through what you've gone through, they don't really know what the trigger words are
Yeah,
either.
and, like, I by no means think like everyone should shelter their conversations about like birth and pregnancy. And like with my closest friends, of course, I want to hear every detail. But there have been friends that like are acquaintances that wanted to get together with me. And I had to say like, you know what? I know that like me going to a lunch with you and this other person who just had a baby or is also pregnant is not a safe place for me. And they were super caring about that. But I had to be really vulnerable and say that. And I think that that is something you have to protect yourself if you're going through this. Like I have a good friend who's going through this right now. And there's nothing you can say. Like I cannot guarantee that you'll have a baby. So many people said to me, you'll get pregnant in the right time.
It's not true necessarily.
That's like a really mean thing to say.
I agree.
And I had a woman at Bethel Supernatural Ministry Hogwarts. You know what I mean?
The School of Divination.
Yes.
Yep. I'm familiar with their work.
She prayed over my womb and she said, "It's not you. It's your husband." And I was like, okay. And then I got divorced. So she was right.
The Lord works in mysterious ways.
So I appreciate that. And I think that is true. I do think the biggest thing you can do in life to shield yourself from like the type of suffering that's a comparison issue is to stop looking to the left and the right.
Oh, you're so right,
like,
Ashley.
Just continue to look ahead. Like my experience has nothing to do with their experience. Like my life is on a completely different track. Like I am on a different train and they're on the track next to me. Like their train could go faster or slower or like veer to the left or get hit by a bus. Like, I don't know. Like you cannot do that or you'll drive yourself insane.
I know.
And there's so many times like I feel so mad today. I felt so mad because this girl I used to work with was a fraud and she like, it was very clear she lied her way into a job and it was a position above me. And like, she continued to take credit for my work. Like all the horrible things that you can think of. We all hated her. We all told our boss about how she was a liar and she continued to not believe us. And then I told my boss's friend who was a boss in a different department and she's like, you gotta just hope she'll leave because they'll never get rid of her. And she left, thankfully. But I still follow her on LinkedIn. And I just saw today that she got another new job. Like she said several jobs. I was like, how is this bitch getting like a VP role job when she's full of shit?
I know.
Like what's happening?
Yeah.
How is this possible?
I know.
So I feel mad about that. And I'm like, I got to stay on my train.
I know.
She's on her train to hell. And I'm on my train to hopefully a podcast career.
I know. Ashley, though, like
the only hope I have.
I totally get that because right now I am like, I think that comparison is what is really fucking me up right now.
Yeah.
Like I recently saw that like somebody a really long time ago that I dated is in like a really happy relationship and they were so awful to me.
Oh.
And they were so bad at being in a relationship.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing that and being like, are you kidding? That fucking asshole is being treated well in a relationship after what he did to me. And I just like the lack of justice in that fucked me up so viscerally. And I was just like, God, I don't know what, like, there is no justice in the world if that man is being loved properly right now and I'm not. Like, it just messed me up, because there's a part of me that really wants to admit, like, I'm cool, I'm fine, I've got my horse blinders on, like, I don't look to the right or to the left, like, I'm just on my own path. But I don't feel that authentically. I'm looking around, and especially in the Midwest, where people, like, the path towards, like, job, marriage, baby is so linear. I'm on a very different path. And at least when I was living in Los Angeles, like, nobody was like, if you got married before you were 40, you were a child bride. Like, it was, and everyone was, like, really putting themselves out there creatively, and there was no guarantee of success. And so there was this camaraderie with everyone where we were just kind of like, we might be kind of just wasting our lives right now, but we have this beautiful dream and we are fighting for this thing. And it felt more like I had more camaraderie when I was there. And I'm happier to be back in the Midwest, and my deeper friendships are here. But I'm looking, like, it is so, comparison is really fucking me up lately, because everyone, even people who are younger than me, do seem to be ahead of me. And I'm losing the capacity to be happy for them, if I'm being honest. And honestly, like, if I'm being, like, fully honest, like, the suffering game is beating me right now. I don't know if I have a lot of, like, but here's how I overcame that right now. Like, I like, suffering, comparison, resentment is kicking my ass right now. Honestly.
Like, what would you say to a friend who said that to you?
I was hoping you could tell me.
Well, I'm just curious, like, your outlook.
Okay.
And sometimes
That's
like,
actually,
it's like a therapy track.
That's
like,
a good,
think of a child that age. And then I'm like, oh, sad.
That's actually a good proposition, because, like, what would I tell a friend who is going through that? And I would say that, like, life is not linear, and that I am in that age bracket right now where life gives the illusion of being linear. Because everyone has, like, shot their arrows out of their quivers except for you, but you don't know where those arrows are going to land for everyone else.
Right.
And yeah, maybe I'll shoot my arrow out. Like, oh, actually, I don't even want to say that, because that implies that your arrow isn't flying until you're married. My arrow is flying.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, kind of going into the brush right now. But, like, I don't think that, like, when people are on their deathbed, or when people are, like, older and they're giving advice to younger people, it never has to do with, like, why didn't you have this milestone or achievement in their lifetime? It always has to do with, like, taking, like, fully being present in the time of life that you're in, and finding whatever joy you can, because you're probably always going to feel like you're not where you're supposed to be. And I don't want my whole life to pass me by.
Right.
But I don't know if I have enough wisdom to give myself advice right now.
Yeah.
Do you have any for me?
Well, I think that was really good.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Like,
I guess I'm fixed.
I think understanding, like, having the wisdom to understand life isn't linear, and you're in one of those spots that sucks. You never know what's next.
Yeah.
But, like, if it sucks enough, it can't get worse. Like,
I mean, it certainly can. Like I said, I'm still super lucky. Like, there's so much that could still happen.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, people always, like, there's a lot of old school teaching where it's like, oh, if you really, like, are feeling, like, resentful, or, like, you want more, just look at somebody who's, like, living in poverty. But then there was, like, this counter movement to be like, no, don't compare your suffering. Like, your suffering is really valid. And I get it, but at the same time, like, sometimes we do need to kind of, like, get slapped in the face a little bit.
Yeah.
And be like, bro, like, it could be so much worse, and you're just going to have to decide to be happy right now.
Yeah.
Because, like, you just don't know what's coming down the pipeline. Like, what if things go so much worse soon, and I'm going to look back at this season of my life with nostalgia? While I was in this season, I was looking ahead.
Yeah.
With hope. I don't want to, like, constantly be looking ahead or behind.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You just gotta stay on your train tracks.
I guess.
I do, as someone who has dealt with significant grief, like with your dad dying at a young age, I do want to help people know how to be better friends to people going through something difficult. I know you were a kid, but I did put together kind of an outline of ways to listen and be helpful to someone who's going through something difficult. Because I feel like not everyone has this emotional intelligence, and they say really dumb things like, it will all be okay, or you will have a baby one day, or you will find your perfect husband one day.
Yeah.
Like,
or like, please to find a silver lining when there's no way they could find a silver lining at that time. Yeah.
It's honestly rude.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need anyone to make me feel better when there's no way to feel better, you know? Did you watch the first Sex and the City movie?
No.
Never?
Nope.
Oh, wow. There's this really, really good scene. So, like, spoiler alert, 20 years later. But Carrie Bradshaw, are you familiar?
I am.
Okay. Carrie Bradshaw
I've heard of her work.
gets engaged to Big.
Yeah.
The one that sucks.
That goes to Paris.
No, that's the Russian. But
Because
anyway.
isn't she always like Biggs in Paris in the memes?
I don't know. Anyway, in the movie, they're getting married.
Yeah.
And on their wedding day, he has cold feet and he doesn't show up at the wedding. But her friends take her on her honeymoon to Mexico. But she won't get out of bed. Like she stays in her room for 4 days straight in the dark and sleeps. And her friends like try to feed her, but they like let her have those moments. Like 4 days of sleeping is totally reasonable when like someone left you at the altar.
I would agree. I don't know if
Yeah.
being in like a cool paradise location would bring me out of bed under those circumstances.
Yeah, and like they have a good time and they like take care of her life, like get her apartment back, you know, like they do all this stuff for her that she needed. But I thought it was like a really wonderful picture of a friend going through a hard time, her friends allowing her to grieve and to like have space, but also being actually helpful.
Yes.
So, I feel like it's important to let your friends sit with sorrow and not try to fix it, like reflect on it and not redirect. So me saying to you like, oh, you know, there's so many things to be thankful for. Why are you so sad right now? That's annoying.
Yeah.
But instead, like saying, I totally understand where you're coming from and I'm so sorry you're going through that.
Yeah.
Like more helpful.
Right. I would agree. And I also think like it's important to know like your advice or counsel with someone should be contingent on your presence in that person's life.
Yes.
So for instance, I had one of my closest friends that I grew up with recently had a heart to heart that was a little like, it was hard knocks. And she teared up and she kind of talked to me about like, at some point you're going to have to integrate radical acceptance into a certain situation. And that girl has been through it with me. And she had a place in my life where she could say that. And I was totally receptive.
Yeah.
If someone I didn't know very well who hadn't been through a lot was like, you need to practice radical acceptance, I probably would have like punched them in the face.
Yeah.
And I just think like it's really important to know, like, are you in a place in someone's life that you can give them advice? I also don't think that like making comparisons to like your situation, unless it is literally identical, is helpful. So like to the metaphor you used earlier, or like the example of like my dad passing away, I remember there were a few times growing up where like, and these were like younger people, so I'm sure they wouldn't say this anymore, would say like, oh, I totally know how that was. Like my dad didn't really pay attention to me growing up. So like I had an absent father too. And I was like, I feel like that's a little different from somebody's dad passing away.
Yeah, like there's other impacts than just your dad's attention.
An absent father emotionally is not easy, but it like definitely like is so, it does not meet the mood when you're talking to somebody with a more like specifically traumatic parental experience.
Yeah.
And so I do think like how much you relate to someone in their, like you might just literally need to sit with someone and be like, I have no idea what this feels like, but I'm here.
Yeah.
You might need to just kind of know when that's all you're able to do. And like sometimes we have this tendency to want to make these comparisons like, oh, I had this happen, which is kind of similar to this, because maybe we want to have like create a sense of like intimacy with someone, or maybe we want to not like one up necessarily. That's probably a little bit too like I don't know. That it's probably not that like malicious.
Like you're trying to relate.
You're trying to
instead
relate.
It like makes
sometimes
them feel defensive.
That, or like you need to honor the specific and unique sacredness of someone's individual experience. And I will be honest, like there are certain things that I've been guilty of where I tried to make a comparison to someone's pain, and then years later, I actually went through what specifically they went through. And I was like, oh, I was a fucking fool. This is so much worse.
Yeah.
This feels so acute and so like the pain is so precise and there's nothing comparable to it. And anyone who would try to compare this to something else, like it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
And I think that giving people the space to honor how unique their situation is, but still showing up for them is maybe one of the better things you can do for someone.
Yeah, and I think asking consent about problem solving.
Yeah, or ask them what they need in that moment.
Like, are you looking for just venting and you want me to be mad with you, or are you looking for solutions? Because that's like a textbook offense of men in heterosexual relationships with women. Like they want to vent to their like I want to vent to my partner, and then they're like, we'll do this and this and this. And I'm like, I know what I should be doing. Yeah. That's not the problem. The problem is I'm mad.
Right.
It's like, just be mad with me.
And conversely, if you have a very like close relationship with someone and they're constantly venting about something that they're unwilling to change, if you know them enough and you're close enough, I also think it's okay to be like, hey, we've talked about this a lot. You are aware of the solutions to get yourself out of this situation. I think that like it's okay to create a boundary too and be like, you actually like you have the power to take action in this situation, but it's a fine line and you need to know when it's appropriate to do that and when you need to just listen.
Yes, I have an example of a situation that I'm currently suffering with.
Okay.
I have had a spot on my scalp that is so itchy for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
I have gone to the dermatologist. Yeah. I have gotten medicated shampoo. I have thrown whatever I could think of on my scalp in the shower. It has burned. It has never felt better. I've taken off my nails because I know I'm not supposed to have them with this scalp problem because I keep itching it and then it gets irritated. If anyone has a solution, I am looking for solutions.
Yes, you have given consent to offer
I would like solutions. I would like the rinses you've tried.
Yes.
I have the most expensive shampoo that I can currently afford. It's not working. That's all I can tell you for the things I've tried.
Yeah. I also really want to know what happens after we die. So if anybody listening knows and like for sure, like if they've had a near-death experience and they've come back, I would love to hear from you.
Oh, I do have a friend who died in a car accident, but then was resuscitated and now is fine.
That would be an example of someone I would want to hear from. Not like a pastor from the pulpit, but an actual person who died.
He is very angry because he did not have an afterlife experience.
It just went black.
Yeah. He's really mad about it.
How long was he dead?
I don't know, a few minutes.
So enough time to pass
he's
the
read
pearly
all the
gates.
books, people who had the experiences,
Euphoria.
when they died and came back to life.
Well, a lot of the scientific explanation for a lot of the visions and stuff has to do with that. There's a certain euphoric chemical that's released right before. It's the same one that they use with DMT trips.
Okay, so it's science.
There's science behind
not
it.
Religion.
But I can't remember what the chemical is, but if you do DMT, it releases that same chemical that happens before you die. So it's this really ethereal, euphoric, life flashing before your eyes. You all of a sudden take in the full meaning of life.
What's DMT?
It's a drug. It's like a hallucinogenic.
Is there another name for it?
I don't know.
For older people? That's
what do you no. I think
how my mom says pot.
Oh,
but now people that's for losers.
It's in the family of shrooms and acid.
Okay.
But it's so much more elevated. So it's this really intense experience people have that releases the same chemical. And so it is just a final boost of euphoria that people get. So some people have it, some people don't, but it's not necessarily an indicator of the afterlife.
All right.
Sorry.
I feel like we're really going off the rails. Do you have anything else to say about suffering or joy?
No.
I just feel like if this episode makes me suffer, I'm quitting this podcast.
I don't know. I feel very I gave a really I don't really have a polished take for this episode, but I will be honest because I just I feel.
Here's the recap of the main message that I have in my notes.
Go for it.
pain and joy don't cancel each other out. They shape each other.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I agree with that.
I think that
That's
they're
true.
two sides of the same coin.
I think that you can be in joy and pain at the same time. I don't think they're binary. I think that they work together in different parts of your life.
Totally.
And like right now, you might just be a little bit heavier on one, but it will
Mm-hmm.
like balance itself out.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I think that deconstructing, one of the issues I've had is that I no longer have hope in a God to save me or to fix me or to have a plan for me. And it's made me more realistic. Like, you know, if I want to see something change, I need to do it myself. And I do believe in like, you know, the world kind of balancing things out, like the universe type stuff. But I think it is hard when you're going through something really difficult and you no longer have like those simple places to lean on. Like when I couldn't get pregnant and I could think, well, it will happen when God's timing makes it happen, or when we're in the right place spiritually. And then I see like these losers get knocked up. I'm like, well, what are they doing? How are they in the right? How are they in the right spot spiritually? Like, how is that 14-year-old that could care less? Like, what?
Yeah.
So it doesn't always work, but it helped once in a while.
Yeah.
And I don't have that to lean on anymore.
Yeah. And I do like, cause I'm still a Christian, or
Do you believe in like God's plan? Like that idea?
I do, but I think that it's bigger than myself. So I don't think I'm necessarily going to experience what feels like the benefits of it.
Yeah.
Because I think that his plan or her plan or whatever is for humanity as a whole, and it will unfold generation after generation, but it's going to be a relay race. And so I don't think that that guarantees me any specific earthly pleasures.
Yeah.
So like, I think that
That's
like,
more
I think that
effective.
humanity will reconcile with the divine in the end.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's going to be wilderness generations in between. And I think I'm in one of them.
Yeah.
And so like, just kind of like how, you know, if we wanted to make it in more like reason, like political aspects, like the people who have fought for certain like feminist initiatives, who fought for like land ownership of women, for the right to not be raped by your husband, for the right to be able to vote, they often did not personally experience what they fought for, but I get to.
Yeah.
Conversely, that means that there are going to be initiatives I fight for that my daughters and their daughters are going to experience the benefits of, because I am part of a larger story of humanity. To quote Kamala Harris, I didn't just fall out of a coconut tree. Like, I exist in the context of others.
Yes.
And so I do believe
I was trying
in
to do her
like
laugh.
the divine plan yes, of humanity. But I don't think that that means that I'm going to get personal happiness and fulfillment in this life.
That's good.
But I do think that I get to be a part of like the story of the liberation of women and people.
That's good.
Thanks.
Thank you. I'd like to leave us with a youth pastor phrase.
Oh, this will be good.
Favor ain't fair.
I haven't heard that one. What? But it makes sense. I understand what it means. I just haven't heard that.
ARC churches then.
Guess not. Yeah, I was too busy in tent revivals.
All right. Blessed are the listeners, for they shall eat cottage cheese without fear of being canceled. That's a shout out to Layla. We love cottage cheese on this podcast, and if you don't like it, you better keep listening.
Hey, that's my friend we're talking about.
But she's a cottage cheese hater.
She is.
But we still love her.
She is. She's been a good woman to me.
I know this was a bit of a heavy episode, but I did think it would be fun if we could end it with some DMT slang words that I just found.
Amazing.
Because there's some pretty good ones
Okay, great.
here.
Thank you.
All right. First, we have Dimitri. DMT, Dimitri. Then we have the Businessman Special,
Wait.
the Spirit Molecule,
That's fair.
Fantasia, and then my personal favorite, 45-minute Psychosis.
Damn, I've never heard of any of these. I'm so sheltered. I've never done any drugs.
I haven't either.
This is according to the Paramount Wellness Retreat.
Wow.
Amazing. Okay, well,
Thank
if anybody listening has access to the spiritual molecule, you know where to find me.
All right, find us on praisevitapod.com on the web, and Praise Vita Pod on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and YouTube. It is finished. Bye.
Bye.